Hey y'all, what's up? I'm balancing my phone on barbecue sauce containers, so hopefully it stays up because I'm leaving school to go home because I'm done with work for the day. Oh god, my life right now is a hot ass mess. Gotta drive 2 hours just to go to work for 8 hours, then go back another 2 hours to go home and sleep for 5 hours. You know, life is kind of insane right now. I'm slowly but surely looking back at the footage from July to make San Diego Joint 2. I've been traveling a lot. Woo! There goes the bridge. So I've been really busy running around from place to place. Like, in the middle of my vacation, I locked in an internship, which is the one I'm leaving right now. And so that's why I was recording in the dark at my friend's apartment. I'm still mad at the lighting about that. I wish I had caught that, but wasn't using my front-facing camera. So, you know, I couldn't see that the lighting was fucking god awful, and I should have just moved around to the other side. I should know that by now. I've shot enough videos, but you know, your fuck ups are your fuck ups. But whatever. Anyways, I don't know why I felt like throwing my 2 cents in on this for the sub 200 people that watch my videos, but hey, thank you. I appreciate you. You're very kind. Anyways, point of the video. Since while I'm still working out logistics of a podcast and trying to do podcasting again, because I haven't done it for a while, for a variety of reasons, one of which is very much my fault. I will take the blame for that. But I wanted to just throw my 2 cents in on this whole Spider-Man Sony Marvel situation, or as I like to call it, the SMSMS, because that's just how the world works. Anyways, so if you don't know, news has come out that evidently Spider-Man is being removed from the MCU due to some contractual disputes or disagreements between Marvel and Sony. Disney wanted to bump up their earnings from the films since Far From Home crossed $1 billion. So every Marvel movie this year has hit $1 billion minimum. Yeah, Disney wanted to bump their earnings up, I think it was like 5% to about 50%. So they wanted half. Shout out Steady Murphy. But Sony was like, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And things, I guess, are a little tumultuous. And the negotiation, I don't believe the negotiation is fully closed yet. Tom Holland, I still believe, is Spider-Man. There are rumors that John Watts will be returning and that they're going to do a Spider-Man 3 and 4. But those are all rumors. I don't think there's any confirmation yet. I don't even think there's confirmation before all this happened that he was going to be returning and doing 3. So that's all just what's it called? Assumption. But like, honestly, when I heard the news, my immediate thought was, Sony, you bastards, how did you fuck this up? I've never seen, I think one of the posts I made was, I've never seen someone look a gift horse in the mouth and punch it in the teeth this hard before. Because Disney, I'm sorry, it's probably what helped them make that $1 billion. The fact that Venom crossed 800 million, China, I don't know how that happened. That's one of just those mysteries in history. 2019 is a weird year. 2018 had a lot of mistakes. I believe that might have been one of them. But even though I enjoyed Venom, don't think it was good. I'm interested for Venom 2, directed by Andy Serkis. Don't know if it's going to be good. Have no earthly idea. I forget who the writer is on that movie even. But nonetheless, thinking about it, I'm not even mad about it. And I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Hell, I would love to play Miles Morales if they ever need a Miles Morales. Lose 20 pounds for that. But nonetheless, like, you can go forward without everything set up in the MCU. I'm still of the belief that Civil War's interpretation of Spider-Man is the best on-screen interpretation of Spider-Man that we've had yet, aside from Into the Spider-Verse. If we're talking like strictly live action, that's the best between MCU and Garfield. I love Garfield, and Maguire, and I think the Raimi movies are very good. But like, nonetheless, I very much enjoyed Far From Home. I think I liked it better than Homecoming. But like, going forward, I'm assuming they're probably going to try, they may scrap those Sinister Six plans and have them do a crossover with Venom. and just throw them in San Francisco with those characters. I read somewhere a rumor that they can't use like Ned and Mary Jane and just anyone from that cast because apparently they're considered Disney characters, which is weird to me. I guess Mary Jane is kind of in that weird gray area because she's an adaptation. And like, I admit, as much as I very much enjoy the live action movies, I love Tom Holland as an actor. I think he's great in these movies. He's amazing. As far as adaptations go, a lot of purists, have issues with it. I know Luke's not the biggest fan. I have a couple gripes with Far From Home. Like, Mysterio's death makes absolutely no sense in the context of the film. But I still like the third act sequence and all that. But sorry, major spoiler. But the movie's been out for a month. You should have seen it by now. Nonetheless, and like I love the post-credit scene. But as far as adaptation goes, pulls a lot from two very different versions of Ultimate. He's not 60s Spider-Man. He kind of circles similar arcs. They rely on the Tony Stark thing a lot in these movies, and I honestly think that's a lot more Sony than it is Disney, but I don't know. I'm not in those writers' rooms. I digress. Like, when the news hit, I'm like, okay, this is an interesting power move. I kind of want them to do two more, but I want to see what one is like with Sony alone. Because honestly, my biggest problem with the Sony Spider-Man movies is Amy Pascal and Avi Arad. They're the ones that end up usually messing them up. Like, I think they're the reason Venom wasn't rated R. Like, it's just their decisions as chairs. And then you got Tim Rothman now as the president. I don't even know where he sits in all of this and all the decisions. He didn't make the best decision when he was over at Fox. Now he's just kind of hanging around with Sony. But like, you have forced the creative teams into a position where now they kind of have to do something different. And Spider-Man has not had a good history with third movies. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 3 sounded like a clusterfuck. And it seems like what they've been doing is they're taking like the scrapped ideas from the Raimi and the Webb movies and throwing them into this one. So I'm earnestly thinking that's why they were building up to Sinister Six. Like, Vulture was supposed to be Voltress in Spider-Man 4. Didn't get that. Then we got Vulture in Homecoming. Mysterio was supposed to be in Spider-Man 4 as like a passive villain played by Bruce Campbell. Got that in Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm thinking we're getting either Venom crossover, which that's very much a monkey's paw thing because Holland and Hardy both expressed like, oh yeah, I'd love to work with the other. We didn't think this would be the circumstances that led to that, but then also they've wanted to do Sinister Six since Amazing Spider-Man 3, and that's what they're building up to at the end of 2. And I think they're going to try and go forward with it, but the team is going to be weird. It's going to be a hodgepodge mess. It's probably going to be like shot in the dark now that they're taking Kraven back. It's going to be like Kraven, Venom, Black Cat. Can't use the other ones, I guess. Well, they might be able to. I don't know, but like Kraven, Black Cat, Chameleon, since he wasn't officially introduced. Doc Ock. Who the fuck else? Sin Eater. I don't know. Who's a sixth member of that team? And a Goblin. Throw a Goblin in there. We'll make Ned Leeds a hot Goblin. I don't know. But, like, I'm interested in where the writing will force them to go with this character. Because Spider-Man's had fine actors. His writing is what's always been what's holding him back. And without Disney and their Disney dollars there and that Kevin Feige influence, I don't know what they're going to do with the writing. So it's a really mixed bag for me. Because, like, as a fan, I like Homecoming. I like Far From Home. But I do also understand the issues that a lot of like comic fans have with the movies about them relying way too much on Tony Stark. I agree with that issue, honestly. Like past the first Homecoming, okay, you can work with it a little bit. Then just like going forward, Peter not quipping as much. Like I think those are like not seeing the action scenes. I think are dope, but just like not seeing as much of Peter's intelligence as we should. You see that more in Far From Home, I admit, but I wanted to see. And I'm not the hugest fan of Peter's suits in these movies. They're good. I would have went a different direction, but just how much they're pulling from Miles. Oh yeah, they're probably gonna be another member of the Sinister Six freaking Prowler if they use Donald Glover again. or just use a different one like Hobie Brown or whatever the other Prowler was. But like the things that the when you put Spider-Man in that universe, the things that they're forced to do, now that you're pulling them out, you're gonna have to pull a bunch of stuff away, and that's really gonna shift how they write this movie and how they approach that Spider-Man 3. If this sticks, which Sony's stock, as soon as the news came out, dropped, which is hilarious to me, because looking at the story and just looking at the reaction immediately, everybody thinks that it's Sony's fault, which is really telling to Sony's past business practices and decisions, like looking at Ghostbusters, Men in Black, Spider-Man in the past. Like, the fact that the one time Sony kind of has an argument, it's like, no, we want to hold our ground, we want to hold on to our property, we want to maximize, how much money we're making from this. We made $1 billion with Marvel, but we made $1 billion with this last movie. We think we can pull it off. So the one time they kind of have an argument, everyone thinks that Sony's the one who fucked it up. Which I get it. I get why Sony did what they did. I may not necessarily agree with it, but now it's forced them to stand their ground if they really want to. I honestly think they're going to renegotiate it. If they don't, I'll be surprised. Sony may take like a lesser deal and do like a 35-65 or a 40-60, where like they make 40, Sony makes 60. It's because before it was like $5.95, I believe. So they can, balance it out. Because even looking at Sony's statement, it seemed genuine, but it seemed kind of double-handed the way it was phrased. Because they're talking about, it's like, well, Kevin has a really busy schedule, and I've seen the Phase 4 docket. I was in a Hall H. It's like, Kevin knows, he's been in this for over a decade. He knows how to balance and manage his properties perfectly fine, absolutely fine. He knows what he's doing. He's running that whole company. He's fine. So to say that adding Spider-Man into that docket is too much on his plate is complete and utter bullshit. So, I don't know. That's a silly-ass excuse for what's really going on in the boardroom. I feel like, if anything, Rothman will have a discussion with Iger or something, and it'll be like, okay, let's talk. Let's sort this out. Let's figure this out. Because, you don't want to lose Spider-Man, and we want to make a lot of money. It's made us a bunch of money already. Fan reception is still pretty solid, aside from a vocal minority like High Top Films. Damn, he hates these movies. Kind of makes me sad, but nonetheless, just I think they're gonna renegotiate. And if they don't, if Sony sticks to the guns, that's a ballsy move. I can only hope it works out for them. But I am curious. Since I guess Holland's contract got bumped up because as I drive over the road, because initially it was a 6-picture deal, and he's done 5 as a Far From Home, I believe. So the last film would have been Spider-Man 3, but I guess it got slightly extended during that negotiation as well, during that conversation, to getting a 4th one, which is cool. I like him. I want to see him grow up outside of high school and see where the character goes with that. But nonetheless, I'm curious to see how they handle 1/3 movie, at least one, by themselves, without all this. But I'm also, a large part of me is hoping that they work it out. We get, Spider-Man fighting the Sinister Six, and then we get to see how that cliffhanger unfolds. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. I just thought this was a really, really fascinating piece of news, and the memes coming out of it are absolutely hilarious. Or they just go super duper left, give us that live action Spider-Verse movie with, get Holland, get Garfield, get Maguire, get Homeboy from the 70s TV show, get all of them come in, get Caleb McLaughlin as a live action Miles, or anyone, any actor as a live action Miles. Do that and do more Loon. Do more Loon if you want. But yeah, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. There's no intro. There's no outro. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.